Okay, exam. Exam preparation advice. Everybody ready to take notes? Like, this is a good time. I mean, you don't have to, because if the recording works, you can just look at the recording. But actually, taking notes is shown to be to enhance learning. Like, it's called active learning, right? When you actually do something. That's called active learning. And active learning, you learn more with active learning than non-active learning or passive learning. So it's good to take notes. So step one on Bob's exam preparation advice is look at the review spreadsheet or the revision spreadsheet on Blackboard. So on Blackboard, I've created a revision spreadsheet. It's like lecture 18 or something. It's the bottom of the lectures. It's a spreadsheet. And it has all the important terms you need to know and all the important processes. The file name is something like laramie18revision.xls. It's a spreadsheet. So go through that and make sure you know the terminology and the processes, because that's what the test is going to be on. It's like, these are the test terms and processes. It's a spreadsheet. Step two is you're looking at the spreadsheet and you're looking, oh, I know that, and then you find something you don't really know or you don't remember or you don't understand. You can review the lectures on the DataViz YouTube channel. Right? So when you find a term you don't understand or a process you don't understand, you can review the lectures. So you have never been more well prepared for a test in your life than this test. You've never been given more exam preparation material than for this test. And you will never be given more exam preparation material than for this test for any other class. Like, there is the most exam preparation material in the world for any exam. Well, that's not true, but for any non-standardized tests for a university module than in the world. Imagine you're looking at a lecture and you still don't understand a process. For example, the shear warp algorithm, right? It's complicated. It's hard to understand. Or marching cubes. Then you would read the paper associated with that algorithm. So all the papers are there on Blackboard, the research papers. Those lectures are me trying to summarize the algorithm to you, to summarize those research papers. But sometimes some details get left out, or I didn't explain things perfectly. That's hard to believe. It's very unlikely. But sometimes I might have left out a detail, or maybe I went too fast over something. Then you can read the paper at your own pace. And guess what? I did that. Like, I read the papers before I tried to explain them to everybody else. Because I had some things that I felt were a little bit fuzzy in my head too. So I did that, and I remember having to implement the marching cubes algorithm for my master's thesis and not really understanding all the steps. So I had to go and read. I didn't really feel like I understood it completely until I read the original paper. Okay, so there are, on the amazing DataViz YouTube channel, you know that there are playlists. There are lots of playlists, it seems. Those are the lectures you want to look at. But there's a playlist called Student Questions and Answers somewhere. Visualization and related questions and answers. So these are all, this one's not on the test, by the way, but these are all students asking questions for the tests test preparation. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So have a look at those. Oops. Usability issues. So a student said, oh, Bob, I don't understand the parallel coordinates construction algorithm. Can you review that? Can you review that for me? And so I made a tutorial for those kinds of questions, right? A quick and convenient introduction to parallel coordinates, right? That's it. Somebody said, I'm studying for my test and I don't understand how to construct parallel coordinates. Can you please show us again? So these are all test questions that students have asked from previous years. So if you ask me that, I will just reply with the link to the video, hopefully. Unless you ask me 5 minutes before the exam, or like just before the exam. You can also look at the previous revision lectures. So there are previous revision lectures. This is nice, isn't it? With the strange zoom level. So there is a visualization lecture from last time I taught this. That's convenient. Hiding. Data visualization lectures from the last time. And if you scroll down, you can see there's a revision lecture there. And there's a student question and answer exam preparation video where I sit patiently for 90 minutes just answering previous exam questions, right, in great detail. So have a look at that, right? It's a valuable test preparation. And you all know that know that you look at the previous exams already. So I don't really have to mention that. One thing I would recommend though is don't skip the FlowViz material. I wouldn't recommend that. A lot of students just say, oh, I'm gonna skip the FlowViz material and focus on the InfoViz material and the VolumeViz material. I've tried to make, because everybody did that so much in past years, I've tried to make the InfoViz material a little bit more challenging to discourage people from just skipping the FlowViz stuff, to balance it out a little bit. So I wouldn't recommend just skipping the FlowViz stuff. Any questions about exam preparation? You guys feel like you have the recipe for success now? You've never been so well equipped to prepare for an exam. Never. Like, this is the most revision material like in the world for a non-standardized exam. Right? For a standardized exam, there's lots of like books published, but for a normal university module, this is the world's most revision material. It really is. Nobody has questions about the revision process or anything like that. If you want a revision lecture, that is fine with me, by the way. So next week is revision week, isn't it? Is next week revision? No, next week is the last. I can't remember what next week is. Does anybody know what next week is? Next week is the last week of classes. And then in 2 weeks' time, it's the revision week. So if you guys want a revision lecture in revision week, I'm happy to do that. It would probably be during one of the DataViz slots, to avoid clashes with other revision lectures. But I will wait to hear from you guys, especially the student reps, if you want a special revision lecture. That's fine. Okay, and then the final thing is I would be really grateful if you would consider filling out a module review form. So you can fill out module reviews on Blackboard in the lower left-hand corner, module feedback. This module, everybody's so happy about this module and they love it so much that they don't submit feedback. And so it would be great for more people to submit feedback. I mean, that's kind of the way it is, isn't it? Usually you submit feedback when you're very unhappy about something, like, I almost died in this class, I need to tell somebody this. Or like, I suffocated from something, like, temperatures being too high. But, people generally only fill out the feedback when there's something wrong. But it would be great if you guys could also feedback, just whatever you think about this module, and so we can improve it for future, or just say that you're happy and you don't think it needs major improvements, or just some sort of feedback. In fact, you can do it right now if you have your laptop. It only takes a few minutes. Any questions about anything? I see everybody's burnt out. Okay, if you have questions, I will be in room 508 of Faraday Tower. That's where my office is, so you can ask questions there too. Or just give me a call as well, that's fine. If there are no other questions, we can stop. Happy Friday.
Yeah.